Welcome, Sagittarius, your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 22nd of June for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first. On screen is your event chart. I'm going to unpack that at the beginning of the week, always provides some important insights. Then I'll go through each of the influences in detail. By the end of the forecast, you'll have a clear picture of what's upcoming in terms of vitality, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to evolve. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. One of your key attributes, Sagittarius, is your love of freedom. And personal space might be part of that, but it's freedom just to be who you are. So if you're aligned to people who get you, then you can be very connected. So a big equation for this week is some of those connections can really prosper, but some may go through a bit of a pause. What's it going to be for you? But by the end of this week, as far as relationships are concerned, with Jupiter preparing to move into Leo next week, really exciting. But first, Mars moves into Gemini, and that is very much about relationships. So on the screen now is your event chart. Now, of course, we just had the summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere and the winter in the south, but in astrology, it is the summer, and the sun's moved into the nurturing protective Cancer. But for you, that's the eighth house, which is deep, it's complex, and it can be very much to do with where we're transforming. But Jupiter, your ruler, has been in that area for 13 months. It is blessed at the moment by Mercury, but most of all going to be energized this week by Mars. So where you're all in and very invested financially, emotionally, spiritually, or intimately in a way that feels comfortable, that energy can move forwards at pace positively. If, however, you're in a situation where you're not quite sure that you're aligned in the way that really speaks to those values that you hold so dear, the quarter moon on Monday, linking back to the sun in your sector of friendship, and also Neptune squaring with the sun later in the week, suggests around your social situation or a romance, if someone is being a bit clingy and stopping you just being the free spirit you need to be, it could be reaching a very powerful point. But you know, Venus, the relator, is actually in a very strong link with Saturn this week. So if your relationship is going well, could get that much closer in a very, very powerful way. But what about Chiron, which is just arrived in your sixth house of physical health? Well, Chiron's linking brilliantly to the sun at the start of this week. If there is a lingering issue that's been really causing some mischief for some while, I feel a resolution may be near. However, balancing work and life, a challenge for us all, is particularly the case if you do feel that someone doesn't give you those moments of individual personal freedom, and Uranus is still raising that subject. What's going to happen, however, as the week goes on, Mars forges a hugely energetic link to Jupiter. That's great if you're wanting to squeeze more from your assets, be canny about business, if you're more entrepreneurial, if you're being recognized for your talent in terms of your creative business skills, all of that's very positive. But I just feel as Mars ends the week, moving into Gemini, if there is a relationship that just is stopping you being freely yourself, I think you could put your foot down and it could be a break, because Mars applying to Uranus by the end of this week is certainly very bold, and it's going to emphasize that part of you that needs independence. You can, as I mentioned, be very committed if you don't feel controlled. And I think that's really the story of this week. But we do also have some other influences going on. So when Mars moves into Gemini, it is also going to get into a T-square with the nodal axis. So relationships somehow or another seem to be very much linked to your role in the world at large or in your emotional life, for good or bad. And I think this week is going to show up which it is for you. Now, if you're not in a relationship at the moment and you'd like to meet someone, from the end of this week for the following 6 weeks, it's going to be really exciting. But you know, the following year, once Jupiter moves into Leo, can be really exhilarating too. I'm going to summarize those 4 areas next, Sagittarius. But just before I do, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. You can now get 3 for the price of 1. Before, for many years, it was buy 2, get 30% off. Please see below for more. But the one you pay for is your life roadmap report, and free is your 12 months transit and also your draconic soul analysis. Please see below for more on those. If you've yet to watch your uh, solstice deep energy shift 3-month forecast or your Gemini new moon video, please click on the information eye on the screen, which will take you to those. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please check out my testimonials below. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, find your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop. You can do that below too as well. So as far as energy is concerned, I feel that Mars being in that sixth house and Chiron being in that excellent link to the sun suggests if there is something that's been lingering for some while, I think you can take the action this week to resolve that issue. And I think it can be a very positive thing to do. Also, if you're wanting to make progress around a business or investment or financial matter, you can show a lot of confidence and thrust, and that can be good too. What I think you're going to find much more challenging this week is if you feel controlled or someone's being a bit possessive, it just isn't going to sit well with you. If, however, you're really enjoying being very close to someone, that tie can get much more invested. And by the end of this week, a much more competitive, but also much more alluring energy can come out for you if you're single. And I think the following 6 weeks could be very busy for your love life. But energy, I think, can improve. I think finances look good. Long-term finances look very, very good. And relationships, it just depends on each end of the polarity. If you're in or you want to be perhaps a bit more your own person, that really is the dynamic for that this week. Have a great week, Sagittarius. All the best and look forward to seeing you again soon.